This video will explore our current state with Crwdunits, the digital asset we purchased when we joined Crowdpoint years ago. Some of you are current with this information, and some don't know what is happening with your Crwdunits. Some of you are wondering what all the talk about micro data centers and nodes has to do with Crwdunits, and what that has to do with you. With that in mind, we will examine Crwdunits, quantum value units, nodes, and micro data centers in depth. By the end of this video, you should have a greater appreciation of your Crwdunits and look forward to the future of your investment with great anticipation. So, let's begin. This will be a deep dive. Quick summary. Years ago, we invested in Crowdpoint Crwdunits to build a marketplace for selling and buying products, with Crwdunits as the chief payment method. Fast forward to today, and we find that Crowdpoint has partnered with Spectral Capital through many course changes. With our Vogan cloud service, more on that later, we are now on the cusp of building the new quantum-capable internet, a significant change from where we started, right? So what does that mean for the owners of Crwdunits? Are we in a better position now, and will this benefit us? Let's take a look and see. The world is changing fast, and AI and quantum computing are two of today's hottest and significant topics. It is said that whichever nation is the first to produce a scalable quantum computer will rule the markets for the next 100 years. Let's briefly examine all the fuss about quantum computers and quantum computing and why it matters to us as owners of Crwdunits.
We all know that digital computers changed virtually every aspect of our life. Well, the arrival of quantum computers could be even more historic than that. We're now in the initial stages of the next revolution. We're talking about a new generation of computers, the ultimate computer, a computer that computes on atoms, the ultimate constituents of matter itself. The question is, who's involved in this race to perfect quantum computers? And the answer is everyone. All the big players are part of this race, because if they're not, Silicon Valley could become the next Rust Belt. Also, anyone who's interested in security is interested in quantum computers. They can crack almost any code that is based on digital technology. That's why the FBI, the CIA, and all national governments are following this very closely. Quantum computers will change everything. The economy, how we solve problems, the way we interact with the universe. You name it, quantum computers will be there.
This big shiny behemoth is IBM Quantum System 2.
Sounds like it's on. What is the big deal there? I mean, why not just build an ordinary supercomputer?
It's a totally different avenue. It's not just supercomputers, but better, or AI, but more powerful. It's an entirely different way of computing.
The big difference is the computer's ability to harness the mysterious effects of quantum physics.
I think a lot of people have a slight misconception, and they see, this whole gold shiny thing, and they think this is a quantum computer. That's actually not true. This is the quantum computer. So this tiny little thing, right? This is the Heron chip. This is the 133 qubits that I am holding in the palm of my hand.
To preserve the delicate quantum state of the qubit, the chip must be kept extremely cold. This tangle of gold-plated pipes and wires is in fact a cooling system that chills the chip to just above absolute zero.
Quantum computing is without a doubt one of the top technologies that the United States needs to lead.
For now, the United States maintains supremacy in the development of quantum computers. But its biggest rival is fast catching up. China are betting big. They've invested over $15 billion, more than 3 times any other country. They have dozens of new research institutes committed to quantum and hold more than half of all patents in quantum technology.
And thanks to our CHIPS and Science Act, the United States is investing more in research and development than ever before.
Whoever is the first to realize the potential of quantum computers will wield incredible power.
While the race to build scalable quantum computers is ongoing, there is also a race to build large data centers that can store the tremendous amounts of data that will be produced by internet users worldwide. However, with the building of large data centers comes significant economic problems.
Thanks to the generative AI race, data centers like this are springing up as quickly as companies like Vantage can build them. And that means demand for power to run them and cool them is through the roof too. For Google and Microsoft, this has directly translated to soaring emissions. Google's latest environmental report says greenhouse gas emissions rose nearly 50% from 2019 to 2023, in part because of data center energy consumption. Although it adds its data centers are 1.8 times as energy efficient as a typical data center. Microsoft's emissions rose nearly 30% from 2020 to 2024 due to data centers designed and optimized to support AI workloads.
Data centers also take a toll on the local water supply.
This is cold water pressure in the kitchen.
So you can see the sediment from the data center. Wow, and that's just from the water coming out of your faucet.
We see data centers as the most exciting asset class.
Meta is building a 2 gigawatt plus data center that is so large it would cover a significant part of Manhattan.
Xiaolei Ren's been studying data center efficiency for over a decade. His research team found that every 10 to 50 ChatGPT prompts can burn through what you'd find in a standard 16-ounce water bottle. Training takes even more power and generates even more heat, as it learns by accessing all the data constantly being added to the entire internet. Training GPT-3 in Microsoft's US data centers can directly evaporate 700,000 liters of clean fresh water, with global AI demand accountable for up to 6.6 billion cubic meters of water withdrawal by 2027, more than 4 times the total annual withdrawal of all of Denmark. In drought-ridden Chile, the government partially reversed Google's permit to build a data center there, following public outcry about water usage. And it's facing similar backlash to planned data centers in Uruguay, too.
Even as they build more large data centers, the current grid cannot support them.
Even when enough power can be generated, the aging grid is often ill-equipped to handle transmitting it, and that's where grid hardening comes in.
With concentrations of data centers in particular areas, there tends to put somewhat more pressure on the grid in terms of delivering that much power in those locations.
In all this, more large data centers are in the plans for the future.
People are planning 10 gigawatt data centers. Just to do the translation, an average nuclear power plant in the United States is 1 gigawatt. How many nuclear power plants can we make in 1 year where we're planning this 10 gigawatt data center? Gives you a sense of how big this crisis is. One of the estimates that I think is most likely is that data centers will require an additional 29 gigawatts of power by 2027 and 67 more gigawatts by 2030. Gives you a sense of the scale that we're talking. These things are industrial at a scale I have never seen in my life.
One thing is certain, quantum computers are coming, and the demand for data centers will continue to increase. This is where CrowdPoint Spectral Capital comes into play. Here is their solution for data centers. Their network of micro data centers will be spread out around the globe. Each micro data center is self-powered and quantum ready, giving back excess energy to the grid instead of taking from it. This model of micro data centers is a scalable, sustainable solution to the large data center problem.
Today, we stand at the crossroads where quantum precision will power computing's next evolution more efficiently, and countries that excel in it will dominate the global economy for the next 100 years. At Spectral Capital, we believe the risk and decisions we're making today will yield significant reward in the future. Today, traditional computing and AI face unsustainable energy demands and scaling limitations, while quantum and precision technologies can offer faster and more efficient solutions. However, they too require massive amounts of energy. While embracing these innovations in this presentation will reduce costs, drive new industries, and ensure competitive advantage in a rapidly evolving digital world, at Spectral, we had to solve the energy problem first. Today, you'll learn how we achieve these quantum leaps while also contributing energy back to the grid with our partner, Essence Global. Spectral Capital and Essence Global are pioneering a decentralized, low-energy computing revolution that not only accelerates AI, quantum, and secure data processing, but also generates excess energy power to the grid, transforming technology into a net positive energy force. Our decentralized cloud micro data centers deliver immediate revenue by deploying edge compute centers that not only power AI and quantum workloads, but also generate excess energy for the grid, a first in the industry. By strengthening national security, supporting local governments, and creating a sustainable net positive energy infrastructure, we're redefining the future of AI and compute for quantum.
Spectral Capital and Essence Global have forged a strategic partnership to deliver what technology demands today. More intelligence, more power, more sustainability. And it begins now. Spectral is a deep quantum technology platform company bridging the gap between quantum and classical computing with a strategy to deploy micro data centers across 16 global regions. Powering these data centers is a breakthrough energy ecosystem, Energy Tech's advanced sodium-ion energy storage, and Essence Global's hydrogen on demand and proprietary water generation technologies. This makes possible a decentralized, modular, and scalable, independently powered quantum computing network, one that can also deliver surplus energy to the grid. No matter where you are, bustling cities or rural landscapes, these transformative technologies offer an energy self-sufficient, intelligent computing platform, creating the future today.
So how do crowd units and quantum value units fit into play with nodes and micro data centers? Let's break down what nodes and micro data centers are in the Vogon ecosystem and explain their differences and advantages in a simple way. What is a node? In the Vogon ecosystem, a node is essentially a single computer that is part of a larger network. This computer helps process transactions and supports the network by performing tasks assigned to it. Function nodes are like individual workers in a big company. Each one has a job to do, like verifying information or helping to keep the network secure. Advantages: participation in the network. By owning a node, you're directly involved in the network's operations, which can earn you rewards in the form of crowd units based on your node's performance. Lower entry cost. Generally, setting up a node can be less expensive than setting up a micro data center, making it more accessible for individual investors or smaller businesses. What is a micro data center? A micro data center is a smaller self-contained version of a large data center. It typically includes all the necessary components like servers, storage, and networking equipment, but on a much smaller scale. Function: micro data centers handle more substantial amounts of data and can perform more complex processing tasks than individual nodes. They are like a small branch of a big company capable of operating semi-independently. Advantages: greater capacity and efficiency. Micro data centers can handle more data and process tasks more quickly than individual nodes, making them more efficient for larger operations. Flexibility and scalability. They can be deployed quickly and in varied locations without the need for large physical spaces. This makes them adaptable to changing business needs and scalable as the demand grows. Differences between nodes and micro data centers: scale and capability. Nodes are smaller and less powerful individually, while micro data centers encompass multiple nodes or servers, thus offering greater processing power and storage capacity. Cost and investment. Investing in a micro data center generally requires more capital up front than a node because of the additional hardware and infrastructure needed. Potential returns. While both can generate income through performance-based rewards in crowd units, micro data centers might offer higher returns due to their larger scale and capabilities, but also come with higher operational responsibilities. Our micro data centers will serve small businesses such as mom-and-pop operations and larger enterprises such as Google and Amazon. These businesses will pay for data storage on our decentralized quantum ledger database with crowd units. As more and more data is stored, the value of the crowd units will increase, meaning more earnings for crowd unit owners. Conclusion: choosing between investing in a node or a micro data center in the Vogon ecosystem depends on your investment capacity. Nodes offer a more accessible entry point with lower costs, while micro data centers provide higher capacity and efficiency, suitable for those looking to invest more significantly. We'll talk about the cost of investing in a node a little later. Crowd units, quantum value units, nodes, and micro data centers. Oh my! Owners of crowd units can potentially earn money from the usage of nodes and micro data centers through a performance-based reward system. This system allocates crowd units, CWUs, based on various performance metrics related to the efficiency of the decentralized infrastructure. Here's how it works. Performance metrics. Crowd units are earned based on multiple performance metrics that measure the efficiency of the infrastructure. These metrics include CPU utilization, memory allocation, bandwidth utilization, storage utilization, uptime, Crwdunit coefficients. Each of these metrics has a specific coefficient that determines how many crowd units are earned per unit of resource utilized or per unit of time. Financial rewards. By optimizing the performance of their nodes and micro data centers according to these metrics, crowd unit owners can maximize their earnings in CWUs. These units can then be used as a form of digital currency within the ecosystem, potentially exchanged for other services or traded on various platforms where crowd units are accepted. This reward structure incentivizes owners to maintain high efficiency and uptime, which not only enhances their earnings but also contributes to the overall robustness and reliability of the decentralized cloud infrastructure. Owners of crowd units can realize their earnings in several ways depending on how they choose to utilize or redeem their accumulated crowd units. Redemption for cash. Crowd units can be redeemed for cash from participating banks within the crowd unit ecosystem. Trading on exchanges. Crowd units will trade on multiple exchanges worldwide. Payment for services. Owners can use their crowd units to pay for proprietary services and products offered by crowd units such as development tools, cloud services, or other offerings. Staking rewards. Crowd units can be staked in specific protocols or platforms that support staking mechanisms. Accrual benefits. Owners benefit directly from any protocol revenues and fees generated from products built on Vogan. These mechanisms provide multiple avenues for crowd unit owners to capitalize on their investments and the operational efficiencies of their cloud infrastructure. Let's break down how owners of crowd units can make money, including what staking is, in a way that's easy to understand. Trading crowd units for real money. What it means. Just like you can exchange foreign currency when you travel to another country, crowd unit owners can exchange their units for real money. Using crowd units to pay for things. What it means. Think of crowd units like tokens at an arcade. You can use these tokens to access or pay for special services and products. Staking crowd units. What it is. Staking is like putting your money in a savings account that earns interest, but with digital currency. How it's done. You choose a certain amount of your crowd units to stake by putting them in a special digital wallet, earning from network activities. What it means. Sometimes just by owning crowd units and participating in the network, you might earn small amounts of extra crowd units. Selling crowd units. When their value goes up. What it means. The value of crowd units can go up or down just like stocks in a company. By participating in these activities, crowd unit owners can make money or get other benefits. In addition to crowd units, there are quantum value units. Monetizing quantum value units involves several strategies that allow owners and participants in the ecosystem to derive financial value from these units, trading on exchanges. What it means. Just like stocks, QVUs can be bought and sold on specialized exchanges, using QVUs for services. What it means. QVUs can be used to pay for services within the ecosystem that supports them, such as accessing advanced quantum computing resources. Staking QVUs. What it is. Staking involves locking up a certain amount of QVUs to support the network's operation. Participation in decentralized applications. What it means. QVUs can be integrated into various decentralized applications. Licensing and intellectual property. What it means. If QVUs are tied to specific quantum-enhanced technologies or intellectual properties, they can be licensed to other companies or individuals. Reward systems. What it means. In some ecosystems, QVUs might be awarded as part of a reward system for contributing to the network. By utilizing these methods, participants can monetize their holdings of QVUs, turning them from a digital asset into real-world value. This makes QVUs not just a unit of measure or a token, but also a potentially profitable investment or tool in the quantum computing and data analysis sectors. Crowd units and QVUs, or quantum value units, are types of digital assets, but they serve different purposes and are based on different principles within the Vogon ecosystem. Crowd units represent extrinsic resource-based value. This means they're tied to the consumption of resources like CPU time, memory, storage, bandwidth, and uptime. They're earned based on the efficiency and amount of infrastructure usage. The more efficiently resources are used, the more crowd units are earned. Crowd units act as billing units within the Vogon cloud, allowing businesses to track and manage their cloud resource consumption and costs effectively. Businesses and individuals earn crowd units by optimizing their use of cloud resources. These units can potentially be traded, sold, or used to offset costs. QVUs carry intrinsic, meaning-based value. They are associated with the transformation and validation of semantic labor. QVUs are generated as a result of semantic transformations within the Vogon distributed quantum ledger database. QVUs serve as markers of digital value and trust, indicating that a piece of content or data has been validated and carries certain semantic significance. Individuals and entities can earn QVUs by contributing valuable, meaningful content or data to the Vogon network. People earn income by optimizing and effectively managing cloud resources. They can monetize these units by trading them, using them to pay for services, or redeeming them. Income or value from QVUs is realized by contributing high-quality semantic content or data. These units can enhance a user's reputation or access specific services. While crowd units are more about resource management and operational efficiency, QVUs focus on the value of information and semantic content. In the context of digital assets and data, semantic refers to the meaning and significance of information, beyond just the raw data itself. Semantic technologies are used to make data more comprehensible and useful for machines and humans alike, enabling better decision-making and insights. High-quality semantic content or data refers to information that is rich in context, well-structured and meaningful, making it valuable for analysis and decision-making. Detailed patient data that includes not just medical history but also contextual information like lifestyle, genetic factors, and environmental influences. This data helps in understanding complex medical conditions and tailoring personalized treatment plans. Contracts, case law, and regulations that are annotated with metadata about their implications, precedents, and connections to other legal texts. Semantic tagging of legal documents allows for better searchability, comparison, and application in legal proceedings, making the data more actionable. Real-time financial data that includes not only numbers but also annotations about market conditions, economic indicators, and news events. By understanding the context behind financial trends and numbers, investors and analysts can make more informed decisions, predicting market movements more accurately. Artworks, films and books tagged with detailed descriptions, critiques, historical context and cross-references to other works. Climate data that includes not only raw measurements like temperature and precipitation but also annotations about local flora and fauna, human activity and historical patterns. Such comprehensive data can help in modeling environmental changes more accurately, aiding in better policymaking and community planning. Semantic content is particularly valuable because it enables advanced analytics, interoperability, and enhanced user experiences. Machines can understand and process the data more effectively, leading to better predictions, recommendations, and automated decisions. Different systems and organizations can share and use the data seamlessly because its meaning is clear and standardized. End users receive more relevant, context-aware information, improving learning, satisfaction, and engagement. High-quality semantic content is distinguished by its depth, accuracy, and richness of context, making it a powerful tool for a wide range of applications. What CrowdPoint and Spectral Capital have achieved is nothing less than spectacular. It's a brand new concept. The Quantum Crowd Unit is the first utility token ever to be approved by the FCCC. QVUs gives value to crypto and commodities. Although these are not cryptocurrencies, both will be introduced to crypto exchanges soon. Owning crowd units and being part of Spectral Capital is like sitting in Steve Jobs' garage as he builds Apple. As an individual crowd unit owner, I trust that once the micro data centers are up and running and serving small businesses and large enterprises, the value of the crowd units will skyrocket. Can you imagine how the initial owners of Apple stock must have felt as they watched the price of their stock skyrocket from what they initially paid for it? The same will likely happen with crowd units. At the moment, the value of a crowd unit is worth 1 cent. Imagine if it goes to 25 cents, 50 cents, or even $1. Multiply that by the number of crowd units that you own. With the demand for data centers rising, we will be in a good position to profit financially when our micro data centers are online. The costs of owning a node: there is the nation's node, which is sold out. There is the Titan node, which goes for $96,000. There is the Centro node at $35,000. And there is the Sprite node at $2,400. Each node will generate a monthly financial payout. Each type of node holds a different amount of data storage, with the Sprite node holding the least amount of data storage and earning capability. The more expensive Nation node holds the highest data storage and earning capability. At present, you will receive bonuses when you purchase a node. If you purchase a Sprite node along with your purchase, you will receive 2.4 million quantum Crwdunits at 1/10 of a penny. Crwdunits are currently worth 1 penny. Consider what this means. You received the crowd units at 1/10 of a penny, and the crowd units are currently worth 1 penny. When we go live, the value of your crowd units will increase 10 times, and that's just the start. We may go live with the price of crowd units being 3 cents. That's astounding. As a second bonus, you will receive 10,000 QVUs. These aren't liquid tokens. These are proof of stake that encode your identity tied to your wallet, your governance rights, and your ability to validate posts and transactions in a secure quantum-proof system. In traditional finance, this is like being issued equity shares or a utility license in the infrastructure layer of a growing cloud network. These bonuses may be discontinued at any time. You will not receive the actual node hardware delivered to your home, but a digital apostille as proof of ownership. In addition to the nodes, you will receive a quantum chip installed on your node at no cost, increasing its data storage and earning capability. We expect to have this quantum chip available within the next few years. You're not buying a node to speculate. You're underwriting enterprise-grade infrastructure and getting digital yield backed by real data, compute, and bandwidth. You get a seat in a network that multiplies value the more it's used. The nodes and micro data centers will be employed through our Vogon Cloud, which provides cloud computing services to small to large-scale businesses and enterprises for data storage. The global cloud computing market was valued at $570 billion in 2023 and is projected to reach $1.2 trillion by 2030, with a compound annual growth rate 12.8%. The decentralized cloud computing sector is expected to grow at a 20 to 25%, with the compound annual growth rate reaching $75 billion by 2030. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, and edge computing continue driving demand for decentralized computing power. Our Vogon Cloud service gives us a competitive edge in the global cloud computing market compared to AWS, Google Cloud, and Hetzner. It offers features such as decentralized computing capabilities, blockchain interoperability, AI, and quantum optimization, as well as a lower cost model. With a competitive edge such as this, we will surely garner our share of the estimated $1.2 trillion cloud computing market. You will not have to do anything to set up the node or find customers for your node. The company will do this for you. The node will be managed by managed service providers, MSPs, at no cost to you. This will be a completely hands-off operation. You sit back and enjoy the profits. What is a managed service provider, or MSP? A managed service provider, MSP, is a company that remotely manages a customer's IT infrastructure and/or end-user systems. MSPs handle the day-to-day operations and maintenance of the nodes and microdata centers. They perform regular maintenance checks and updates on the software and hardware. This includes patch management, software updates, and ensuring that all components are functioning correctly. Benefit: regular maintenance helps prevent downtime and security breaches, which can affect the performance and reliability of the nodes or microdata centers. Security management: MSPs implement and manage security measures, including firewalls, antivirus software, and other cybersecurity protocols. Performance monitoring: they continuously monitor the performance of the nodes and microdata centers to ensure they are operating at optimal levels. Benefit: this helps in identifying and resolving any issues quickly, minimizing disruptions and maintaining high service quality. Technical support: MSPs provide ongoing technical support and troubleshooting services. This support can be especially valuable in resolving complex technical issues. Benefit: owners can rely on expert assistance, which is particularly useful for those who may not have extensive technical expertise. Scalability and flexibility. As the needs of the business grow, MSPs can assist in scaling the infrastructure by adding more nodes or enhancing the capabilities of microdata centers. Benefit: this flexibility allows owners to expand their operations smoothly without significant downtime or investment in new hardware. Based on the information provided about Crwdunits, nodes, and microdata centers, I ran the information through Deep Thought 42 to assess the investment opportunity. Let me point out that I'm not a financial planner and that I am not giving financial advice. Do your own research. Investment in Crwdunits and nodes. Performance-based returns. Crwdunits offer a unique investment opportunity where returns are based on the operational efficiency and performance of cloud resources. This model incentivizes and rewards efficient resource management, which can lead to higher returns compared to traditional fixed-return investments. Quantum resilient security. The integration of quantum-resilient encryption methods like Sphinx Plus and the use of distributed quantum ledger databases enhance the security of the infrastructure. This future-proofs the investment against emerging threats from quantum computing, adding a layer of value that is increasingly relevant. Scalable and decentralized infrastructure. The decentralized nature of the infrastructure allows for scalability and resilience, reducing costs and potentially increasing the service reliability and uptime. This can lead to better performance metrics and consequently higher earnings from Crwdunits. Market potential. With a projected addressable market of approximately $10 billion annually by 2030 for Crwdunits, the growth potential is significant. The dual functionality in cloud hosting and energy arbitrage, enhanced by quantum technologies, positions Crwdunits as a competitive asset in high-growth markets. Regulatory and compliance strengths. The system's design for transparency and regulatory compliance, especially with the use of distributed quantum ledger databases, positions it favorably in markets with stringent regulatory requirements, potentially easing expansion and adoption across different regions. Risks and considerations. Market adoption. The success of Crwdunits heavily depends on their adoption rate within the cloud computing and energy markets. Technological complexity. The advanced technology underlying Crwdunits, while a strength, also poses a risk if there are any unforeseen flaws. Competitive landscape. The cloud computing market is intensely competitive, with major players like AWS and Microsoft Azure. Regulatory changes in frameworks, especially concerning quantum computing and data security, could impact operational practices and cost structures. Given the innovative approach, potential for high returns based on performance, and strategic positioning in future-proof technologies, investing in Crwdunits and associated infrastructure like nodes and microdata centers appears to be a very good investment opportunity. However, it is crucial for investors to consider the associated risks, particularly around technology adoption and market competition. Diversification of investment and thorough due diligence would be advisable to mitigate these risks. In summary, while there are inherent risks, as with any investment, the unique value proposition and alignment with future technological trends make Crwdunits a compelling option for those looking to invest in the next generation of cloud infrastructure and quantum-resilient technologies. Many changes and accomplishments have occurred since we started with Crwdunits, but they have been for the best. If you own Crwdunits, I advise you to hold on to them and watch them grow. The Spectral team is currently selling contracts to have these microdata centers deployed around the globe. Once they are sold and deployed, I believe great things will happen for us. If you haven't had the opportunity to purchase Spectral Capital stock, I advise you to consider owning it.